you want me, if you need me, I'm yours. If you want me, if you need me, I'm yours. If you want me, if you need me, I'm yours. If you want me, if you need me, I'm yours. If you want me, if you need me, I'm yours. If you want me, if you need me, I'm yours.
What's up, people? I'm back again. Make sure the mic's working, make sure the sound's all good. Yeah, so what a week, man. What a week. I mean, we're on Monday, right? I keep feeling like today's a Sunday because where I am it's like a bank holiday, so. So yeah, it's just been kind of like thrown off a bit. Didn't really get up to much, to be fair. 3 days off. Just like doing nothing, you know, the weekend, chilling with the missus. It's been fun though. It's been fun. Shout out to anyone who checked us out on X, on Twitch, YouTube, or PunFun. Yeah, back on PunFun. I thought I'd give it another go. The connection seems a lot more stable today. At some point, I'm sure, like the VPN's gonna let me down in it, but we'll see. What did I want to talk about today? A few things to cover. Obviously, well, not obviously, but I'm going to be talking about Unipeg. This whole Flux thing, you know, like where people are staking mega tokens for a share of like 5 billion tokens. It's like, I don't know how much of it that is like the actual flow. And a few other things. Yeah, Sato, I'm trying to figure out what that is. And some other sort of, you know, peg RunePeg sort of NFT-esque type thing called RunePeg. You can probably see it in the tabs. But we're gonna go over things. Starting at the news, really, like I think the biggest news that happened over the past like 24 hours is the fact that DRB got hacked. So if you don't know what DRB is, basically Grok has its own wallet that holds a token called DRB, which stands for Debt Relief Bot. So originally, when the way it got founded, the token was that somebody had a brief conversation with Grok, and Grok basically instructed the banker bot to create a token called Debt Relief Bot token, or DRB, and anybody who traded in and out of this token, basically the fees that were accrued were then given to this wallet that Grok was supposedly or does have control over. So then, you know, I think it's been out for over a year. I think it peaked at like 40 million. I remember getting in really early when it first came out because I thought, oh, that's new. I made quite a bit of money on that, which was nice. Don't know where those funds have gone now. It's been a while. And yeah, so the funds have just been sitting there accumulating. I think like originally the people that were sort of behind it, there was like a guy called Mr. J. Lee Jr. or something like that. He was like really bullish on it, and up to now he's been talking about it, and a few other characters from crypto Twitter were talking about it, but nothing came of it because the fact was that the Grok wallet struggled, or Grok the bot actually struggled to recognize the fact that it had funds. And then even then it kept on saying, if you asked about it or talked about it, it was like, well, I don't have the facility to send that money, big man. Do you know what I mean? So if you said to Grok, like, Grok, I know you've got a wallet with like almost $1 million worth of DRB in it, we won't send it to you, or like send it to me. And Grok would be like, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't have the ability. I think that's what I'm saying. But somebody found a way. I haven't done a deep dive into it, but from my understanding, somebody sent a NFT to this wallet and instructed Grok that it has this NFT and can you send it back to me, but they've done it in a form of like a Morse code. And for some strange reason, the banker bot and Grok have decided that it's okay to send 3 billion DRB to this wallet, which is about 300k. And then from there, that person disappeared. They cashed out and they're gone. They're probably done with crypto now, or like they're gonna come back under another alias on Twitter, and you know they'll move from there. Is it fraud? Is it stealing? I don't know. You know, I think game is game. I mean, if you've got a smart contract out there, right, and it's sitting on like a big treasury that's been out for years, and you're not really maintaining it, no one's really looking at it. If somebody decides to look at your code and discovers like sort of a vulnerability, I mean, it's like a video game, this, isn't it? Like, you know, it's a treasure hunt. If you find a place to dig and you find a treasure chest, I mean, who's to stop anyone from taking advantage of that? Now, that's not me saying that I'm going to scam or like, you know, I'm looking for opportunities, but like, it seems like the only way that, you know, crypto is going to move forward is if it gets hardened. And if everybody's looking at the same smart contracts, if everyone's looking for opportunities to make money or for vulnerabilities, doesn't that make things better overall in terms of, you know, the actual infrastructure and smart contracts? I mean, there must be like loads of contracts out there that just be sitting there for years, you know, and developers, I don't know if they've abandoned it or they're using it to raise funds for new projects or whatever. They're saying, look, we've got this money here as our treasury float. We're raising money to build this new project. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, guys. Oh, I don't know why this always happens. All right, just give me a second. I'm just going to blow my nose. It's so embarrassing. It always happens to me whenever I'm on stream. I don't know if it's a nerves thing, but yeah, just give me one moment. Yeah, sorry about that. Sinuses, you know. I don't know, man. Like, it seems like whenever I start a stream, no matter how well I try to prepare, there's going to be a sneeze, and there's going to be like me blowing my nose. So it's just something that everyone's going to have to get used to, isn't it? So I apologize anyway. in advance, or like, you know, if it happens again. So what I'm saying, yeah, it's kind of good for the ecosystem to everyone looking at these smart contracts. In terms of like, you know, if someone sees a vulnerability in a smart contract and they decide to take advantage of it, game is game. Most contracts are immutable, innit? Like most people revoke their ability to make changes to the smart contracts. So if there is a vulnerability and someone takes advantage of it, and they don't fully take advantage of it, there's a possibility that somebody else could, like, you know, jump in and do the same thing, and it just, in the end, like, you know, potentially this DRB wallet that is owned by Grok could go to zero. Like, you know, people could just be like rinsing in the same playbook. Obviously now there's more eyes on the contract, so if someone does do it, then, you know, all eyes are going to be looking at that person, and they'll probably get caught doing it. The guy who got away with it, never heard of him, just disappeared, did what he had to do, made 6 figures. Congratulations to him. You'll probably see him on chain doing some other, you know, magnificent things. He's gonna have to pay taxes on that as well, so yeah, we'll see where it goes. So yeah, I'm not saying that, you know, the whole idea of like DRB or like, you know, crypto in terms of Grok and the association with this DRB wallet and everything is cooked, but potentially it could be over. People are still holding the token. The token's holding up quite well, to be honest. It was at 10 million market cap, maybe 9, and now it's down at like 6 million market cap. And in saying that, you know, it did peak at 40 million market cap at one point, I believe. So yeah, it's definitely something that that, you know, it's not surprising, but it is surprising. You know, it's just know that, like, you know, there are people, especially with the power of AI and like with you know, Claude and everything else, you know, when Mythos comes out, or Mythos or whatever it's called comes out, or Mios, I can't remember what it's called, when that comes out, yeah, it's going to be a shit show, like, which is potentially why, you know, prices in crypto haven't been skyrocketing, although they have been performing quite well over the bank holiday weekend, in my, you know, in respect of what I'm saying. So yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Flux, right? So it's kind of frustrating for me because, like, obviously, like, Mega's come out, Mega dropped their token, Mega Eve dropped their token, and, you know, as you can see, it's down only and sideways. It's not a pretty chart. People are like, oh, you know, everyone's vested, like, you know, everyone's vested for 6 months, everyone's vested for a year. VCs are doing this, VCs are doing that, like, or, you know, apparently no one has any tokens to sell, so why is the price down only? My only assumption is that people who partook in the ICO who aren't based in the US got substantial amounts of money, or Mega, and they decided that, you know, to realize their profits. So, because they are up, at the end of the day, they could be up a 4x, a 5x, or maybe even a 2x, I don't know. The exact price of what they got in. I believe the max allocation that you could get was like $136,000 you could place into the contract for the ICO via Sauna, and then from there you had to wait until basically TGE, which happened this week. I think it was the 30th, yeah, 5 days ago. So the last day in April, and then from there, yeah, obviously everyone just started just dumped the token. But what's frustrating for me is that, you know, like, there were, and I think it's sort of calmed down now, but there were a lot of people on the timeline basically saying, oh, you know, you could stake your tokens with Flux and you could get a share of like 5.3 billion tokens, Mega tokens, yeah. There's a criteria to it. Once it hits a certain amount, let's see if we go to how it works so I can give you guys the facts. Commit your Mega and receive a share of rewards as ecosystem KPI tranches. Maturity increases your linear over 90 days. So you can stake for 90 days. And at the end of the day, you're going to get allocated some Mega tokens in some form of way. Now, the fact that you've got a stake for 90 days. So let's see, available rewards. So 5.3 billion, as we know. And at the moment, what's that worth? $669 million. So there's 13 KPIs. Let's see, KPI USD adoption. So, like, yeah, there are things going on. There's certain criteria that needs to be met in order for anyone who's staking their Mega tokens to realize any sort of, like, you know, interest payments, or realize part of the, or receive part of the 5.3 billion Mega tokens. Now, it seems like a substantial amount, but at the end of the day, if you're locking for 3 months, yeah, and you're hoping for max allocation once you've staked your tokens, you're getting paid in Mega. So you're getting paid in an asset that's depreciating, and not only that, I mean, it's just so, that's why I laugh, because it's so silly, because I've seen this game before. The amount of tokens that are going to be issued are, you know, going to affect the amount that you get in terms of dollars, because no one's to say that once, you know, the KPI is here and, you know, all the criteria is met, and they're like, okay guys, here's your allocation, thank you for staking with us for 90 days, that the price won't be half of what it was when you originally staked, or you know, 1 cent or 5 cents, for instance. Yeah, like more than half. So the value of the token that you're getting potentially could halve. So it doesn't matter how much interest you're getting paid, because at the end of the day, you're getting paid in mega tokens, which are a depreciating asset. So why would you do that? Especially if you're like part of the ICO participants, who, you know, already made your gains on it. Yeah, I mean, like, it is gains on gains, but like it depends on where the price goes from here. If mega bottoms out here potentially and the price goes up, going into, you know, the full 90-day staking period, or maturity period, then yeah, you might make out like a bandit. But bear in mind that you know, you can still unstake at any moment or at any time. You don't have to actually commit all the way through the 90 days. You could commit like now, and then tomorrow, like say the price triples, you could be like, you know what, I'll just take whatever potential interest or additional mega ETH tokens I've earned, and I'll just, like, you know, get on with my life. But at the moment, yeah, it's not looking too great for mega. But it's the same as every other L2 token. There's always some like shaggery, some dodginess going on in the background that, you know, I don't know if people figured out the game yet, but like, yeah, this is like, you know, VCs and hedge funds and investors who have invested 3 years ago at much lower valuations. They're realizing profits, and I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know if it's via, you know, selling OTC their positions to someone else who has the ability to stake, or I don't know. But there's loads of like dodgy games going on. What I'm trying to say is that, you know, in terms of mega ETH, yeah, you know, the actual protocol is like, you know, trustless, permissionless potentially, and, you know, all the rest of the things that you would want from a Web3 product, but the token is not. So there's a difference between the technology and the token, and I keep repeating it and no one listens to me, but like, the token is not decentralized, trustless, and permissionless. Okay, the protocol might be, but the token is not. The token might facilitate the ability for the protocol to be, you know, the permissionless and all the rest of it, but at the moment, the only people that are making it permissionless and all the rest of it decentralized, and in a sense, even though it's an L2, are the people who have vested or invested 3 years ago or years ago, and are now staking and realizing gains somewhere. I don't know. I actually don't know where the inflow or the emissions of tokens or the sales of tokens are actually coming from. Like, people are like selling 12,000 tokens at a pop, you know, 7,000 tokens at a pop. You can see it on screen. I'm doing it live 2 hours ago, and they're pretty much all the same address. I've seen this address sell several times, you know, 500 there, blah blah blah. It's just all sales. Where are these tokens coming from? And don't tell me, you know, 5 days after the actual TGE, when ICO participants received them, not the US, because apparently the US is vested for 6 months, I believe. The rest of the people who received their tokens, you know, from Europe, or I'm not even sure, because like where I am, I wasn't allowed to participate. Maybe India, like I don't think India was allowed to, or was that the pump fund? I'm getting mixed up, but yeah. Give Mega some time. They've got cool products and protocols, like, you know, like or games even, like, you know, like Shadowrun. I like One Hit. I like Mega ETH, the protocol, more than I do Monad, for instance, because Monad, they didn't offer anything. But don't be surprised when you start to see, like, you know, main characters from the Mega ETH community start to say, do you know what, guys, it's been fun. We built this great thing. I'm moving on. Vesting cliff reached. You know, like you know the meme. It's gonna be one of them ones, isn't it? The guy Bread, he seems like passionate about what he's building, but like any salesman is passionate about their product until, you know, it's time to realize a profit. No disrespect to the guy, he's done great work. So yeah, that whole flux thing and the Mega ETH TGE sort of flopped. There was some more drama on the timeline. I'm not going to get into it too tough. Well, I'm going to talk about it. But Unipeg, I've done a video on Unipeg last week, and it seems like, yeah, so that was like what, May the 1st. So like the 30th maybe, or April, I've done a video talking about Unipeg and the, you know, the ingenious way that it's built and all the things about it. If you want to know anything about Unipeg, I sort of done like a deep dive, or I gave my basic understanding of how it all works. People try to make things more complicated than they actually are. And, you know, I was talking to my missus about it, and I was just like, yeah, this Unipeg thing, you know, it's really cool. Like, it, when you sell the token, the NFT blows up into pits, and like, you know, it's got like this part that adds this part, and, you know, you could have different types, which means you could have infinite amounts of different types of Unipegs, which are the NFTs. And she was like, so basically it's a doll with accessories. And I was just like, well, yeah. She's like, yeah, because like, you know, you could buy a Barbie, yeah, and you could change the dress on it, you could buy the shoes and change the shoes, so you could have infinite amounts of Barbies. And I was just like, yeah, that's a better way to describe it. She's like, you make things that sound overcomplicated, you know, like all these on-chain transactions have to happen and V4 hooks and blah blah blah. And I was like, maybe I do. So I'm talking to the wrong crowd. But yeah, basically, these NFTs, when you buy a whole token, yeah, you get an individual NFT. But some clever clogs, somebody out there, basically discovered a way to manipulate the SVG generation of these tokens. Yeah, I'm trying to find like any reference to it. Today's example of yeah, I'm trying to find a good. Here it is. Student integration. Yeah. So what happened was, yeah, somebody managed to find a way to manipulate the SVG to where it does like 100 transactions or in a batch. Now, originally people thought it was like a flash loan thing. It wasn't a flash loan. The attacker used like Uniswap's V4 native unlock to atomically mint. I'm reading this, by the way. Atomically mint 100 UniPegs, and transfer the rarest one to a separate wallet, and then burn the others and then return the funds. So he was basically spamming the network like with 100 transactions or 100 like mints, and the rarest one would be allocated to his wallet. And he did that several times, you know, like multiple times, to the point where this attacker had like nothing but rare mints, because the rarity calendar came out the day before. So the attacker knew exactly what he was looking for in terms of rarity. So, and basically programmed an algo or a bot or something to do those transactions, to spam, get 100 mints, which would cost you around 14k, I would say. Yeah, because at the time the price was like, well, it might have been 140k per transaction, I don't know. Yeah, he basically just spammed the network. The contract worked exactly as it was designed. Every line is intended. The sequence mint, yeah, the ID, everything worked as it was supposed to. But the guy found the loophole in the contract where he could basically spam mint rare NFT or rare Unipeg NFTs. And then from there, you know, somebody called Tiger, who's a Chinese crypto Twitter participant, you know, everything he posts is in Chinese, basically said, yeah, looks like Unipeg's fucked. And then, you know, the FUD started, didn't it? The FUD started, and, you know, everyone's like, oh, it's over, you know, blah, blah, blah. So the guy, Hayden OXE, he came out and he said, you know what we're going to do, this is all part of the plan, you know, this is all part of the plan, guys, relax. And they basically said that the Unipegs are not only valued by the view or the look of them, they're also going to be valued by the timestamps. So the older, the more original Unipegs, the ones that were minted first, and the ones that people held on to, will basically have a higher rarity count than the ones that are, you know, muted or like printed and have the exact same aesthetic in terms of rarity, if that makes sense. So yeah, if you've got like 25 of the exact same looking Unipegs, I think they were called monochromes. If you had 25 of those in your wallet and you spammed transactions to get those, basically it shows that you minted them at a specific date, and those aren't as valuable as the ones as someone who got a monochrome in the beginning. But not only that, because of these tags, it was announced today, Unipeg, after they've done their peg-to-peg exchange, the guy who's in charge of OpenSea basically said, oh, you're going to be able to buy and sell the NFTs on OpenSea. And in turn of that, the developer of Unipeg said that anyone who has spammed the network to get rare vanity NFTs basically will have a 0 day on their, or marked on their actual NFT. So it was, instead of it saying the date at which it was printed, it would just say 0, which means that it won't be able to be traded on OpenSea. So that sort of like, you know, cuts the, I wouldn't call the scammer, the opportunist, out of the actual, you know, point of like sale. He could maybe they could burn them, you know, like they could, if it's valued at like 1,300 at the moment, because what I'm seeing at the moment in terms of price action of the token, not the NFT, of the token, of the UPEG token, is that it's not like, you know, exploding at the news, or it did pop off at the news of like, you know, it being listed on OpenSea. But I've got a feeling that what's happened now is that this guy is basically dumping all of his NFTs or his Unipeg tokens. If you've got 20 Unipeg NFTs, that means you've got 20 UPEG tokens, or 50 or 100. So you're going to want to sell them off at the best price. No one's going to know or buy those from you, so you might as well get rid of them, because the actual float of tokens, which is, I believe, at 10,000, the same as the NFT. Oh, look, someone just spent $2,000. I believe the float has not exploded out. So the whole point of it is that there was only supposed to be a certain amount of these monochrome NFTs within that were being able to be printed or made, and I think it was around 10. So it would have been really difficult for you to get a monochrome one, and that would have given it the rarity case. But this guy managed to print like 30 or 40 of them, which sort of like dilutes the whole idea of like rarity in terms of like aesthetic, if that makes sense. So yeah, that happened, and I thought it was an interesting take, because obviously you can't change the contract. The contract is out. They've obviously looked at everything in terms of attack surface. Well, I hope they have. And they probably. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because obviously, like, it's from Uniswap Labs. It's a V4 hook. You assume that the code has been audited, and just no one saw this, I guess, or maybe they did, and this is why the timestamp thing was like so quickly brought up, because they understood that potentially someone could manipulate the contract to give them what they wanted, or the process. So there's hope for it. There's hope for Unipeg, but like in the meantime, the guy who owns a shitload of these monochrome rare NFTs that have zero dates on them, he needs to basically give them up and find another way. But people are definitely looking at the contract now and try to take advantage. Once again, there's opportunists everywhere. Anytime something new comes out, someone's going to try and jump in there and just be like, look at the smart contract. Is there any vulnerabilities? Is there any way I could get into the treasury? Like blah, 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 blah. So yeah, potentially could go horribly wrong for you. If you get into something without, it actually being tested and whatnot. What else? This thing I just found as well. There's another mint coming. Rune Pegs. I'm not sure. Rune Pegs by Ethereum Maxis. I think this was like runes were on Bitcoin. When Bitcoin tried to do NFTs, it was a disaster. Like, a lot of people, they didn't lose money on it, but like, it was a bit of a disaster. But yeah, they're moving over to ETH, it seems, and they're going to do the same sort of like, mint function, where you buy the token and, it gives you an individual NFT. But once again, and like I said in my last stream, you don't want to buy derivatives of original artwork. So like, a derivative of a punk, it just never does well. Why? Because punks are punks, and they were built in an era where, it was new. And they're not built to be shared or like split apart and put together in different ways. I just don't believe it. Like, I just don't believe it's a good value proposition for a collector. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an art, connoisseur. I don't like focus on all those things. Although I have been looking at the details on these Unipegs for some strange reason. So yeah, gotta consider like, Rune Pegs. It's got potential. They didn't say when they're going to release. They said that they're going to airdrop a few of the, if you've got runes from the Bitcoin whatever ordinals, that's what they're called, the Bitcoin ordinals, potentially you could be getting some Rune Pegs in your Ethereum wallet. It's up to you what you do with it. Like, maybe the token flies, maybe it doesn't, but like, the liquidity is still dried up on like alts. Like, a lot of alts I don't think are ever coming back, bro. Like, I don't know who's thinking the old alts are coming back. Meme coins are dead. It seems like this is the opportunity that everyone's looking for. A lot of people are starting to like notice. You got like well-known. I'm not even going to call them key opinion leaders. I think it's a disrespect to people who have been successful in this industry. I'm not saying they came from nothing either. Like, more than likely, the guys who you see who've done really well, their parents have probably done really well, and given them a really good education, and they've made really good connections. And this is just the game that they play, on the side. So yeah, like a guy like Ansem, I'm sure he's not from nowhere, but like, he's sort of started to take notice of it, and he's got his barbell thesis on the two assets that you should probably own going into the next bull run, which I believe has started. I'm not gonna lie, it's sideways chop, but I don't see lower prices. And if you do see lower prices, as I said previously, it's probably a full seller who can't afford to hold. I don't see many of them around. If anything, like, the bigger institutions and wealthier people are actually buying right now and waiting for retail, a catalyst for retail to get back in. the cycle of retail is just like you're just waiting for the people who were 18 or 16 during the meme coin run. They're going to be like 21. They're probably getting into their first employment jobs, and they're going to start earning a wage, and those people are going to want to allocate capital to crypto because that's what they grew up seeing happen. And they're going to go to the new narrative once they see that money is starting to be made. Then that's what will push on the new bull run, and then it'll be a churn again, and a few will survive, and the rest, they'll go back to their regular jobs and say crypto is a scam. And that seems to be the way the cycle works. It's just about generations, isn't it? But who knows what this new generation is going to come up with. They're very the 16-year-olds back in 2 years ago, 2024, 2022, 2023, those 15, 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, they've seen the game. They're watching the people that made it, and they're taking notes. But you have to be, cognizant and aware that those people, they're washed in this new game. So the V4 hooks, the NFT to token, the fact that you can have dust be more valuable or valuable in terms of price appreciation, because people can't get the full NFT unless they accumulate one whole token. There's different games that are at play here in terms of this new asset class that we can't label yet. They're calling them pegs. I'm not comfortable with calling them pegs, okay? So it's got to be called something else, isn't it? But yeah, this seems like the new game. Asteroid he chose as well as his second barbell thesis thing, which is a meme coin, but because it's got the Elon Musk stamp of approval and potentially could be stuck on the side of a rocket, it's great marketing for a new meme. The memes that are around now, when you look on Pump Fund and you want to trade memes, those memes seem to be, they're not memes, is it? I haven't seen a single good meme in a long while. Chill Dog or whatever it was, even that was just meh. That was when it was getting to the top of everything, but there wasn't really Fartcoin wasn't really a meme. Some people tried to spin it. It was it was the first joke in history, was a fart joke, or the first joke of mankind was a fart joke. It was written in hieroglyphics on a wall or some shit. They tried to spin the narrative on it. The GOAT token, which started off sort of began the meme coin thing as well. That was by AI, so that was sort of a cross between, and you had so there was GOAT token, and then the virtuals thing happened. So you just got to keep an eye out for the bubblings of things. And I'm telling you, these V4 hooks, and the ability to cross pollinate different types of abilities. I would say think of it as a game, you've got the spell of the token, you've got the spell of the NFT generation. And then there could be other things you could have someone perhaps create a peg that produces an NFT that also provides yield that also has a token attached. You can do different things and just break it apart and put it together in these hooks. The only thing that I would advise is that if you do see a new peg, the best thing to do is go to Claude if you have access, and just once you get access to the contract, just say, what does this look like? If you understand how to look at a contract, then great, but the barrier to entry is extremely low in understanding whether or not this smart contract is legit, the person who's running it is trying to scam you or not. There was one guy called Anon something, and he kept on showing up on my timeline, and he seemed like a I hate it because you kind of they sort of show up on your timeline because I'm interested in UniPeg, he's interested in UniPeg. All of a sudden the Telegram group's getting started, and then all of a sudden he's shilling you some shitcoin, and he basically woke up one morning and where is he? And he shilled this one. Where is it? Ucore. He's all oh yeah, Ucore guys, Ucore. And at the time he was shilling it, it was at $2 million, right? So he shows up on my timeline, he's shilling $2 million, right? So it's around here. So I'm okay, I've woken up, I've seen it, it's at 2 million. And the first thing I do is I go and I take the smart contract and I look at it and I say to Claude, tell me everything about the smart contract, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out the LP's not revoked. Or something actually, it wasn't that. Something wasn't revoked in terms of the smart contract. And, Claude was kind of they'll probably do it later, once they think everything's okay. But that's not the case. That person, whoever released the smart contract, basically wanted to take advantage of people and the slight bubble up in hype. And this is a problem that we're going to have in the future. And this is what's going to save people a lot of money and time. Okay, we understand that memes are a scam, innit? We understand that people have figured out how to bundle memes and split them out into loads of different wallets and make it look like, you know, there's 4,000 people holding it. When in reality, it's one guy who's like, you know, he controls the whole thing. And once you put your money in, it reaches like, it's ridiculous. At first, it used to go to 10 million, for instance, towards the end of last year. 10 million was max cap, and then, you know, it would get dumped. Okay, maybe potentially if you were quick enough and you were paying attention and you were sharp enough, you could actually get out of a bit of change. But it's just come to a point now where, you know, it goes to 300k and they're out. You know, at some point it will go to $2,000. I don't know, and you know they'll be like, all right, I made my $50. And the worst thing about it is that those type of people, in terms of memes and bundlers, are actually celebrated on the timeline. You know, like all they're promoted by, you know, Pump Fund and everything like that. To be like, look how cool this guy is. He just made 400k, like ripping off everyone live on stream. I'm sure, like, you know, at some point someone's gonna like go to court or go to war with these type of characters, and the ones that are encouraging this type of behavior. But the sooner that sort of meta and that narrative dies, yeah, the sooner the better. That narrative should die, and I believe it is. I believe that people are hungry for something new, new opportunities. But in terms of like these new opportunities, if you're not early, what you're gonna find is you're gonna find opportunists that try and show you scams. So yeah, this unknown crypto who I blocked, I'm trying to find, like, if I can bring him up, I'll just show him, so people know what they're dealing with. And you know, where is it? It's here. And I said this is a blockable offense. You know, this guy, a non-chain. Yeah, what happened? He says, oh, I'm only holding one element. I'm a brokey. Yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, he said, right, just holding. So he deleted his tweets. Yeah, he deleted his tweets. What happened? Yeah, so he deleted his tweets basically saying that he didn't do it. But this guy, stay away from him. Okay, yeah, he's blocked. He's got 89,000 followers. I don't know how. And I'm just like, yeah, I just stay away from these type of characters that are shilling these things. And if you do see someone who's like sort of starting to build up a bit of momentum, yeah, basically what you need to do when they shill something, put the smart contract in Claude, like, you know, and just have it do a deep dive and just see whether or not it's legit. Because everything is on chain with these new hooks, and it's far too early to start scamming. And now, the next step, because we've got this new narrative emerging, there are going to be opportunities to make substantial amounts of money. Okay, you're gonna put things into Unipeg, the one that everyone's talking about. You're going to see drama and FUD on the timeline, mostly perpetuated by scammers like this guy here. And from there, the FUD will subside, and you'll realize that the project is legit, and you're going to want to buy back in, okay? And you're going to want to hold it for the rest of the cycle, okay? Because it's still early. It's like, what, 16 million? UPEG? Where is it? UPEG. Yes, it's at 13 mil. It's nothing. Do you know what I mean? It will sell off. I'm telling you, this is the guy who's like, you know, done the monochromes. He's just getting out. It's going to take him a bit of time to get out. And once he does, you might get like a generational entry, okay? Yeah, from there, you ride that up. Asteroid, yeah, okay, it's a meme coin, great. It's actually broken out to 150 mil. It seems like that one wasn't like, you know, as bundled as it seemed, or like as other meme coins are, plus the narrative is real. So yeah, Asteroid potentially, yeah, Ansom's made a good call on that as well. I think that's a good shout. But yeah, as I was saying, like, so this will be the first version of this new asset class. Now you're going to see a couple more assets come out, and they're going to be legit. You're not going to be sure, like I said, check Claude, and those are going to run up too, and you're going to make a bit of money. And as time goes on and people start making more and more money, and like, you know, someone's going to be crowned the king of these V4 hook NFT-esque pegs, whatever, and everyone's going to be copying their calls, and then that's when that's basically a top. And then you're going to start seeing someone's figured out how to scam with these things. Okay, they're going to start figuring out, you know what, if I don't revoke it, or if I build a treasury on the side and tell people, look, all 30% of the fees go to this treasury, and then, you know, they don't revoke their ability to take the money out of the treasury, they can actually take the money themselves. Like, there's going to be all sorts of like little like nuances and like, you know, attempted scams on people. No one listens to me, but I'm telling you, like, I'm actually trying to look at all the opportunistic ways that people can take advantage of you. I'm not saying that that's what I would do, but it's better to learn to be a scammer than to get scammed. There you go. Okay, you can check the timeline. Like, if I was a scammer, like, I wouldn't be doing these streams. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely, like, you know, pay attention to the details of these things. But yeah, we're in the very first early innings of it, and I reckon potentially through the summer, this thing will just rip. Everyone will make a shitload of money. whoever's holding it. And then, you know, towards the end of the year, there's going to be loads of scams. And that's it. I think this is the one where you could potentially make, Gen Wealth. Gen Wealth is on this one. The OpenSea registration, I'm not too fussed about. OpenSea hasn't had the clout or the correct. Yeah, they're just not the best at like, I don't know, like everyone's pissed off with OpenSea because they haven't done the airdrop. If they'd done the airdrop at the precise moment, that's basically the bottom of the market. And now they're trying to shill a mobile app. People have no choice, I guess, in it, because no one's going to Blur or like what was the other one? Magic Eden. I think they faded away as well. So like OpenSea is the only venue where you can really trade me NFTs. And I guess that's where the liquidity is, which is why the UPEG team or devs or the community overall are celebrating the fact that the NFTs will be registered there. But they have got their own exchange, peg to peg. There's other things to come out on this thing, okay? The other thing I wanted to talk about was the Saito. I still don't know what this is. And honestly, like, I mean, it's hard to care in it. But it's something new. People are sort of like talking about it on the timeline. I need to do some reading on it. Circulating 16 million tokens. Reserve 1.7. What is it though? Saying it was an ERC on Ethereum, lowercase name. Blah blah blah. What does it do? Issuance happens through one contract, Uniswap V-Hook. So it's a V-Hook again. So the Uniswap V-Hooks are probably where the money's going to be made the next 3 to 6 months. This is not something to say that, you know, like Bitcoin's going to go, although Bitcoin was at 80k. I'm not sure how much it is at now. 1 second. Bitcoin had a bit of a run. It went to 80k, you know, like it looks like it wants to go, but then it always looks like that, you know. It could be like a more of a sideways thing like this, and just like sells off because Trump done something or said something. But yeah, it looks like the bull run's about to, you know, start warming up. So issuance happens through one contract to Uniswap V4. Setters that only mint are at deployment and locked there. When ETH arrives, the hook computes how much Saito to mint and keeps the ETH as reserves. The price of the next Saito, and it does some dodgy. See, like things like this. When I see like this stuff, I'm like, okay, this is to make me feel stupid, right? The only variable is ETH. The cumulative net ETH are ever paid in. Pre-constraints, but what is it? Consequences. There. I don't know. We don't chain. Proof that the manifesto stood. Okay, so what is it? And it doesn't really tell you what it is. I mean, I know I could read the white paper. Who? Let's be real here, guys. Okay, let me pull my beer out and take a minute, take a breath. But let's be real here, yeah. When's the last time you read a fucking white paper, mate? Do you know what I mean? When's the last time you read a white paper? I mean, this is very old school, so it makes me think that it's legit in it. Like, you know, like if someone's like create a white paper for a new token, like what are you sure? And it's so plain as well. 100 of blocks. Okay, 3 constraints keep the curve hard to game. A single buy is capped at 5 ETH. No one can vacuum a meaningful share of supply. One transaction selling in the same block as your last buy reverts, which makes the flash load arbitrage uneconomic. Okay, so they've taken care of flash loads. Over the first 100 blocks after the deployment, every block buy received a random multiplier. Okay, costing them 10% on average. Wow. That window is closed. From this point onward, the contract is fully deterministic. A consequence, S equals 500, whatever that means. So what is it, like a game? Curve. We'll finish reading, I guess, isn't it? Trading continues on whatever venues exist. Uniswap pools, exchanges, peer-to-peer transfers that haven't been built yet. The bonding curve hook stays online and continues to accept sales, paying Ether out of its reserves. Sales reduce supply by burning the tokens they consume. No buy can bring that supply back. Okay, so it's capped at 21 million, I guess. Okay, Saito. I mean, it's look, how much is one? How much is one? This is one Saito. So if I go, how much is one Saito? It's not that much. It's not that expensive. Is it? I'm sure I saw a contract there somewhere. There it is. Manager token. Let's have a look. I know I'm old school. I don't go to FOMO app and all of that. I'm just not interested in, like, you know, doing anything along those lines. FOMO app. I'll give you tips on sending this to millions. Oh, thanks, bro. Send the tips. There we go. Saito. Chart's not looking too great, bruv. Where's the contract? Sato contract. Just doing stuff on Shape, you know? Just looking around, being curious. Excuse me. Token contract. Holders. Here we go. So like this, yeah? You're going to want to copy and paste this into Claude and just see what it says. So should we do that? Just out of curiosity. I don't mind you guys see my Claude terminal. I'm like, I've got a load of projects that, you know, I started, I never finish. What do they call it? Technical debt. So if I just copy that, let's see what it says. Paste. What is this? I'll type, what is this? Break this down to me. You see, I know the various entries to understand these things. Break this down to me. What is it? In plain English, into 10 bullet points. Bullet points. Explain what it means. See what it comes out of. Alright, so while that does that, unknown skill. Oh. Okay, so I'll just do chat. Let's try chat. Let's try that way. See, this is why I have the background music, because those silent moments, they're not helpful, are they? Chat. Let's go to chat. I'm listed, bruv. I need to actually, yeah. Okay. See that. See that. Okay. Chat. New chat. Apologies, guys. There you go. Alright, while that loads, what else can we talk about today? It looks very bright on my forehead. It's not good. Let's get back to a dark screen, shall we? Actually, do you know what? You stop doing that. It'll be dark. There you go, that's better. Right, once that comes through, I can actually tell you what's going on, because I'm clueless, clearly. I can't stay up too late tonight. I've got to go to the hospital. See some stuff. A bit loud, isn't it? Is it too loud, the background music? Bring it down a bit. Didn't realise it was so loud. There you go. That must be annoying. So shout out to any viewers that tune in or, like, you know, make it this far into the video. Appreciate you listening to me spill my guts and just like waffle on. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So here's the breakdown of what this contract is. Let me just mute myself because I can hear myself speaking, which is annoying. Token called Sato, both name and symbol, built on Opera Zeppelin's ERC. Deliberately stripped down, no owner, no pause, no blacklist, no transfer fees, no upgrade contract. Single minter architecture, only one address. Okay. Likely a Uniswap v4. It's never allowed to create or destroy tokens. One short minter assigned. Blah blah. Deploy is powerless after deployment, so it's immutable, which is good. It's got a burn, so also callable only by the minter, and it can burn only from a holder's balance without their approval. The comment says it's used during sales settled against the investor curve. It says that already. Restrictions for written true. A hard-coded immutable boolean that does nothing functionally. Okay, Genesis fingerprint, Genesis and Genesis hash are burned into the bytecode as immutable. Okay, custom errors. Okay, in short, it's a credible neutral ERC20 designed to supply primitive to an external hook contract that handles all pricing and trading logic. Okay. Explain it in simpler terms. What does it explain it in simpler terms? In simplicity. Like I'm 5 years old. Maybe 10 years old. Everyone's always shitting on Claude, but I love Claude, man. I think it's probably the best invention I've ever come across since the internet, you know? Since it's like printing a special kind of arcade ticket called Sato. Once you have these tickets, you can trade them or give them to your friends, just like normal arcade tickets. There's only one ticket printing machine that's allowed to make new Sato tickets. Okay, the builder gets one chance to pick the printer. After the builder picks a printer, they lose all their power. Okay, there are no bad guy buttons. Either side hanging, blah blah. Uses tiny error codes instead of long messages when something goes wrong. Big picture, the ticket machine is super simple on purpose. All the fun stuff, like deciding how much tickets cost or what happens when you buy and sell, happens in a different machine called the hook. The machine's only job is to be fair, boring, trustworthy counter. So it's like, is it Bitcoin? They've just invented Bitcoin on Ethereum with a bonding curve. What is the max supply? Let's find that out. I know it says it in the docs, but I just, I want to make sure I have the max supply. Of tickets. And is there an emissions cap? Let's see. Love streamers are nobody. Great question. Don't say that. Okay, so it has. Wait a minute. There is no max supply and no emissions cap. Okay, so it can be unlimited emissions. This is the hook. The Sato hook mentioned in the comments. The other machine. Also, there's a hook. The token contract is essentially dumb. It says I trust the minter completely. I don't ask questions. It's Black Cat's pricing issue. It's authenticated to the hook. Okay, so what does the hook say? Find the hook. Is there a hook contract? Let's see. In the white paper, there should be. Here we go. Is it this one? Have a look. Have a butcher's at that, son. Check this. Okay. Should be failed. Alright, so I need to go to Etherscan here. There we go. Contract. There you go. So this is like, there's like two parts to it, I see. So this is the hook. So the Sato is the token. That's the, like, the foundry. Like the, where you could mint the token. And then the hook is what gives it functionality, which is way more complicated. You can see there's a lot of code here. Okay, I wasn't able to pull the contract. I've got it here, son. Don't worry. Let me dump that in there. You tell me where it is. Try this. Paste. Boom. And this is how easy it is to do research into new tokens, new derivatives, anything. I'm giving you the exact playbook, guys, of how it works. Okay, copy and paste it into Etherscan or even into Dex Screener or whatever, and then you go to the contract, scan the contract, copy it, put it into Claude. Tell me what this thing does, explain it to me like I'm 10 years old, and then you get a general understanding of whether or not this thing's a scam or if anything else. Now, crypto's been out for years, isn't it? Before, you used to have to sort of like go through the code to understand whether or not this thing is legit. Now I can probably answer yes. There's a supply cap of 21 million Sato, a deliberate Bitcoin homage. Boom. So this is Bitcoin on Ethereum, and I have to buy some, and it's only 25 cents. So you're buying Bitcoin on Ethereum at 25 cents. Have we got any cash here? No, I'm on the wrong thing. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to buy some of this. I think people are underestimating it. So what else does it do, though? Sato. But the mechanics is a bit more nuanced than the flat supply, 21 million. Here's how it works. The hard ceiling is 21 million. That is 21 million, yeah. This is described in the code as ASO, whatever, supply cap of the curve. The word asymptotic matters. It means the bonding curve mathematically approaches 21 million as more ETH is poured in, but never quite reaches it. You need infinite ETH to mint exactly 21 million. The real practical answer is 99% of the supply, which is 20,790,000. The contract has self-deprecated flag. The moment crosses that, flips true permanently and point onward, every buy reverts to self-deprecate buy. Buys are dead forever once the line is crossed. Sales still work, but no Sato can be minted again. So the actual practical cap is 20,790,000. No supply cap, but worth noting, no single buy can exceed 5 ETH of import. This caps how fast the curve can be marched to supply. So what is it at now? It's like 16 million, right? So the circulating is 16 million. So it's almost near the supply cap. Okay, noted. I know what I'm doing when I get off. So what's the price at now? Is that reasonable? 25 cents. And I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, I mean, yeah, it went to shot up at 70 cents. How long has this thing been out? Right, so there you go. So I think like this is another opportunity. I believe, like some people have made substantial amounts on already. You see this guy selling for 24 cents. He probably got in at a penny, so he's 24x his money. No, he's selling at a loss because he doesn't know what he's doing. Or maybe he does. Who knows? Interesting. I mean, if you could get this at like 5 cents, this is like buying Bitcoin at like pennies, right? You put $100 in and just fucking leave it. Just don't touch it. Just leave it. And then when it explodes, everyone will be like, oh, there's a stable coin out. Or not a stable coin. There's an Ethereum equivalent. Sato. Interesting. Okay, so that's one of the more exciting things. Quite clever. I've checked the contract. I've asked for Claude to explain it to me like I'm 5 years old, and it's basically said, yeah, it's all good. The owner or the person who created the hook had actually, do you know what I haven't checked is whether or not is the V4 hook safe. Is it all safe? Okay. Entropy window, first 100 blocks after deployed. This is a wrinkle. During the first 100 blocks, buys get a random multiplier. Okay, this means actual total supply can drift above or below the total mint. Okay, sales retract the curve. Okay, so if it sells, it burns it. It's no longer in emissions. Schedule none. There's no emission schedule. A couple of things worth flagging while they're here. The 0.3% LP fee on both buys and sells gets accumulated into fees accrued, but don't see any function in the hook to withdraw those fees. Okay, so the fees just stay there. And it said that in the white paper. So the contract actually confirms that, which is interesting. The curve E function specifically subtracts fees accrued from the balance. So the fees aren't used to back sales either. As far as I can tell from this file alone, the accumulated fees are stranded in the contract forever, collected but uncollectible. That might be intentional, a kind of permanent lock treasury proof of skin, or it might be a missing feature, worth a closer look, or a question to the deployer. Also, the hook is genuinely ownerless. This is good. There's no admin function, no upgrade path, no parameter key settles. The cooldown, 99% threshold constant, combined with Sato token being permanently locked to the hooks as it's so minter. The supply rules are immutable. That part of the trustless pitch checks out. Bottom line for a holder, Max supply 21 million. Practical cap is 20,790,000. No inflation schedule. Sales burn supply. And once 99% is hit, the mint function is dead forever. So you could only mint 21 million of them, and it's up to, so it could hit the cap really early. And at the moment it's at 16 mil. So the supply is going down at the moment, which is good. But yeah, it could be a buy, man. Could be a buy. Could be a buy, guys. You know, like, one Bitcoin is 100k. Do you think, like, obviously this thing's not going to go to 100k. You know, 80k, sorry. I mean, but even if it went to 1,000, it'd be cool. But yeah, okay. So yeah, that's that. Saito. I don't know what else I want to talk about. I've been talking for over an hour. I normally just do an hour and then just, you know, fuck off or whatever. So yeah, keep an eye on Unipeg. I feel like those are the plays. Those are my 3 picks, okay? It's going to be Saito. It's going to be Unipeg. And there was one more. I guess it's those 2. Unipeg and Saito. I mean, you could go Asteroid, but, like, you know, it's a meme coin. You know what you're getting in it. You know, like, somebody's definitely got like 3% of the supply on that. Even that. I don't want to go to bubble maps because it will slow down my stream. But yeah, massive potential with this thing. Massive potential with this thing. Okay, I've droned on long enough. I'm probably gonna buy some. I'll put a little like cheeky $10 in. What's that gonna buy me? $1 is like 4 tokens. So 4. If it does the Bitcoin price action thing, yeah, I mean you could get quite a bit for 10. You throw $10 in it, forget about it. You could be that guy who turned, like, you know, he's like, oh my god, he's got like 4,000 Saitos, you know. Something like that, something crazy. All right, guys, I guess I'll speak to you another time. Thank you for tuning in. As usual, an hour max, otherwise I start waffling on and go off on a tangent and no one wants to hear that. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to play you out in my usual style. I hope everyone's doing well and enjoying the rest of their week. I might be on tomorrow with more news, who knows. If you know, if the stream starts to pick up traction, that'll be great. If not, you know, it's all for me anyway. I like to listen to myself ramble in bed with my headphones on. That's not weird. You're weird. All right, guys. Take it easy. Mute the mic.
if you want me.